This is Ganvie. Welcome to today's video, because if you've never heard that there is a Venice of Africa, then this video is definitely for you. So please go ahead and watch until the very end so that you can learn more about this village. This was my first time in West Africa, and I really enjoyed this trip because my friends organized this whole itinerary, and I was able to actually learn quite a lot about Benin, and in specific the village of Ganvie. So this village is one of those villages that is actually on water, fully on water. Pretty much everything happens on the waters of Lake Nokoué. And this is one of the most interesting villages and has a very profound culture and history, which I was very curious about, because having seen other villages, for instance, the Makoko village in Nigeria, I have pretty much just watched stuff about it, and I was very curious to see and learn more about Ganvie village, which is one of the most popular villages in Benin. This is not to say that there are not other villages that are on water, but this is actually one of the most popular ones. So we had to drive from Cotonou in Benin Republic and drive all the way to Ganvie, and then from Ganvie we took this boat ride for 1.5 hours that would take us around the village that is on water, and we were able to see pretty much what happens on the water, just see the daily lives of the people of Ganvie, obviously respecting their private spaces and seeing how life is really like. So thanks to my tour guide, who actually lives on this village and has been living here since he was born, and I will leave his details so that in case you find yourself in Benin, then you should definitely take this tour, because it is very profound and very rich in history. So this is known as the Venice of Africa, and this is because obviously the village is actually on water, and as we rode over to the village, you could easily spot how the lake has been well kept, despite the hyacinth that usually obviously grows, because the lake can either be fresh or salty. This hyacinth, I'm told that it is used to actually create some handicrafts. So we went to one of those handicraft markets and would see these baskets that were made from hyacinth, which is really good. And as we rode over to the village, you could see several people actually either going to the market or leaving the market, or just pretty much living their lives. So everything happens on a boat on this lake. Pretty much everything, from going to school to going to the market, going to fishing, everything happens on a boat. Even tourism, name it, think of it, it has to happen on a boat. And one of the things that I really learned and really resonated with me from visiting this village is the resilience of the people of Ganvie. And I could tell, despite all odds, despite limited resources, despite any type of hardship, these people actually live a very happy life and they enjoy their lives. And you could tell from seeing the daily lives of the people here. And I could hear kids, shouting as we passed by and, saying hi to us. People saying hi to us and welcoming us to the village, which was very interesting to actually see. And, I really quite had the experience. So Ganvie is one of those villages where, it is very striking because of its history. So it is currently home to the Tofino people, who are also known as the water people of Benin. And so Ganvie is actually one of those communities that has thrived on water for over 400 years. And so this Venice of Africa is quite the marvel, and the government has actually kept it going and running and maintaining it and building things, structures and building for instance, the supermarket that we passed by, and making sure that things are running in this village, because it is also a source of income, because lots of tourists actually go to visit this village. So the creation of Ganvie is rooted back in the century, and it is due to a period of profound oppression that it was actually built. So this is a symbol of survival, because back in the day, the kingdom of Dahomey, that was led by the Fon tribe, they dominated this region and engaged heavily in slave trade. So to escape this capture and enslavement, the people of Tofino sought refuge on this particular Lake Nokoué. And this was back in the day and has been to date. And it is said that they named this village Ganvie, which pretty much meant we are saved, which was very profound for me, because it is a symbol of how people actually escaped from slave trade. Now, life in Ganvie really is as simple as you can imagine, and it revolves around the lake. And so I'm told that boats are obviously the primary means of transportation, and families actually own several of them. So you can find one boat for the father who actually goes fishing, another boat for the mother who maybe goes for economic activities to sell the fish and also sell stuff in the grocery market, and another one for the children to go to school, because there's actually a school in this village. They have pretty much everything. They have a school, they have hotels, they even have a 5-star hotel, they have hospitals, they have a police post, they have a post office. They have everything right on this village. And these boats are usually made from wood, and this is a type of wood that actually can stand the water. It is called Iroko wood, and these boats actually serve as the main purpose of actually living on this particular lake. So fishing is one of the things that happens on this lake quite a lot. And as we rode through into this village, I was even told there is also a love street where people actually meet, because life goes on just like normal, so people go hang out, out of the apps and out of the internet and everything. They actually hang out on one of the streets, and they meet up at around 5. It is said that it's common for them to actually meet up here. If you might be wondering what means of power they use solar panels a lot here, because Benin is also very hot, and so they actually use solar powered energy. And we went through into the city, and you could see that each of these houses have been very well built and have been built right down into the lake using very, very good wood, because again, the wood can easily be eaten up by the water, but they really take care of that and make sure that it is very well built. And so as we went into the village, you could tell that people here were just pretty much minding their business as well, and going on their lives and making sure that they are doing what they ought to be doing, despite having touristic boats like ours. And we could also see some people fetching water from wells, because they usually use water from wells as opposed to obviously drinking water from the lake, because as you can imagine, it could be contaminated either from the waste activities as well as maybe pollution from other places that are close to this lake, because this village is not the only one that is on water. There are several of these even in Benin, and it is easy for them to get polluted and so on. So one of the things that I also noticed as we rode into this village is how the village has quite a lot of buildings, and it is said that they have quite about over 3,000 buildings on this village. And as we passed by even the main market, you could see that there is quite a lot of people actually living here, and many of these buildings on this village usually serve critical roles in the community. And so you could see that they are very colorful, and also people are living lives. And one of the things that I also noticed is like Beninese people they actually really love to dress very colorfully. So you know how in Kenya we dress in kitenges just for occasions. These people really understand the assignment of wearing kitenges every single day, and they're very colorful, which was very amazing to me. And so you could see at this point also people fetching firewood from other villages because they use firewood to actually cook. And this was also explained to me that usually they make a fireplace inside the houses and they use it to cook. And this has been working for them for quite a bit of time. Now, another thing that I was informed about is how they really love their education. So Ganvie people make sure that education is a priority to their children. So the classes are actually held in stilted structures, and despite resources being limited, the Tofino people are very dedicated to educating their children. And in fact, teachers are actually able to incorporate just a lot of standard education, things to do with traditional knowledge, things to do with fishing practices, environmental stewardship, making sure that generations actually continue to respect and protect this lake. This is one thing that I learned from this trip. So, which was very, very amazing, because it means that this would be carried on for generations and generations. In fact, obviously, this place began quite a long period of time. So it was amazing to see as well. Now, as we went through, you could also see structures of various religions, which was very fascinating to me. And I was told that religion in Ganvie is a blend of various religions. There's voodoo beliefs, there's Christianity, there's Islam. And usually the Tofino people actually make sure that they coexist despite their various religions, their various beliefs, their various spiritualities and tolerances. So apparently they coexist very well, which was very fascinating to me. And as you can imagine, tourism is quite the thing here. And we spotted one of the hotels there, which was a five-star hotel, I believe. And in case you want to actually go to Ganvie and spend a night there, you could definitely do. We could also spot a school right there that, even we could see school kids coming from school, which was also very fascinating for me, because I was like, okay, this is very interesting to see how their daily lives are. And they would actually row the boat from school all the way to their homes. In fact, some of them would share the boat ride with others, and this was a spirit of togetherness. Honestly, for me, I think I learned quite a lot from this village, from just watching them and just watching how their lives went by every single day, despite being on the lake, despite having limited resources. Despite it all, really, it was one of those things that I really appreciated about Ganvie. And you could also spot that the lake is very well kept. It is actually quite clean. We could also spot some fish as we went by on this lake, which was very amazing as well. And tourism here is one of the things that actually brings a lot of income here. And it is said that, there's a lot of visitors who actually come here, about 30,000, correct me if I'm wrong, but about 30,000 are thereabout per year. Those statistics, I will definitely maybe check them once more. And you could see a lot of people actually also visiting as we visited as well, which was also quite amazing. And however, the Tofino people usually make sure that tourism is carefully managed, because they don't want to be exploited. As you can imagine, it is their daily lives anyways. I could even feel that we might be invading their privacy, but I'm told that they actually like it when they see people, coming to visit their village. But also I could feel the sense of having the need to respect their privacies, obviously. So this is one of the things that I was quite fascinated about. Now, there are several challenges, as you can imagine, on this village, and despite how beautiful it is, despite how ingenuine it is, and how the community faces just a normal life, and they face also significant challenges. And one of the things, obviously, is pollution from nearby urban areas, which threatens the health of this lake. There is also pollution from waste, from daily activities, honestly speaking. It impacts fish populations because, fishing is one of the activities that they quite rely heavily on. And overfishing, as my guide would tell me, is that overfishing and climate-related shifts in the water levels, for instance, when the lake swells up, this can really add to the complexity of life on this lake. However, the people on this lake remain resilient, and they are always making sure that they are protecting this environment. And, they pass on even things to do with like fishing techniques. They are passed down the generations. They help to conserve fish stocks and so on and so forth. On our way, we could also spot that, they even have, an inn. They have like a hotel inn, which was very fascinating for me because, this is a bar, a restaurant, and in case you need a room on this particular hotel, apparently it cost about $25 a night, which was also interesting to see that they actually live just the normal life as well. And everything is on stilts on this water. So now visiting this village was one of the things that really made sure that I reminded myself of resilience. And I will tell you for free is that I could tell that the Ganvie people, they are not just resilient, they are creative people. They are very uniquely cultural oriented. The rhythm of their daily life, from seeing fishermen casting their nets and also seeing children rowing to school and seeing people just living their lives, fetching water, fetching firewood. This actually shapes the lake and it roots them in a history of survival. For me, this village is actually a big testament of how the Tofino people have transformed a seemingly obviously hostile environment into a very vibrant community despite all odds. For me, I think each of these buildings on stilts and every boat I could spot on the water reminded me of the courage and resourcefulness of the African people, really, and even how these Ganvie people actually created a whole village out of having to escape from the captures, having to escape from captivity back in the day. So for me, Ganvie stood out. This village stood out for me as a symbol of unity and strength. And it stood out as a village that actually has thrived against all odds. And also, this Lake Nokoué for me stood out as not just a place to actually live. It is a legacy of freedom. It is a living reminder of how the Tofino people actually escaped from oppression and an example of harmony between humanity and nature. And this taught me a very, very big lesson. All along the whole trip, I would ask myself, can you yourself live on water like this? And seeing them thriving and seeing them happy and living their lives on water, this is one of the things that I really appreciated. And you know how you have bad days, and you're wondering what is going to happen next and all that kind of thing. I was questioning myself a lot, and I was like, you know what? If they can live on water for centuries and centuries like this, and live their lives and pretty much have all they need, all the resources they need right here on this village. They don't even have to go to Cotonou to find something or whatever it is. If they can live on this lake, then, your problems are just nothing, honestly speaking. So I do hope that, you enjoyed this video and coming along with me. There's a lot of history on this particular village. There's a lot of history, obviously, in Benin Republic, and there's a lot that maybe has been told, or maybe needs to be retold, or needs to be highlighted out there. And this is one of those visits that if you ever find yourself in Benin Republic, I would highly recommend for you to actually go and visit this village. It is very close to Cotonou, in case you find yourself in Cotonou, or in case you're planning a trip to West Africa as well, then this would be one of the places that I would highly recommend. I do hope that you have enjoyed this video. Our trip back from the village was quite enriching, and my friends and I would not stop talking about how they keep relearning about their history as well. They live in Benin, but every single time apparently they take someone there, they also have the same feeling of, this village is quite the epitome of history, is quite the epitome of humanity and resilience, and we couldn't stop talking about it. And thanks to them so much. Thank you to Gladys and Stephanie, and also my tour guide, for making this trip happen. I do hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I do hope that you keep tuned onto this channel for more travel stories, as well as opportunities to study abroad, work abroad. And if you have ever experienced this village, please leave a comment down below so that we can also have a discussion about how your experience was like. Or if you're planning to actually visit this village, let me know, and I can obviously send you my tour guide, and maybe you can have a good time as well and learn quite a lot, because travel teaches you quite a lot more than what you can read on the books, because when you experience it is very different from when you actually read about it. So I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and keep subscribed. And obviously a big shout out to Air Alo for being my partner as I went through this trip. Air Alo is a seamless eSIM that allows you to have internet as you go in pretty much anywhere across the globe. And obviously Air Alo is ready to give you a few discounts. If you click on the link on the description box below, you would definitely be able to get a discount, and you can utilize it for your next trip. So until next time, have a good one, and bye.